What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy, Fantasy Hockey, TITTH number 100. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Nick Davis with me. What's up, Nick? How we doing?
What's up, yo?
Yep. We're at it here. 100 episodes for Take It to the Hizzy. Appreciate everybody stopping in and joining us this evening. Nick, we're at 100, man. How you feeling?
100. It came really fast, with all these sports that we're doing now. It came really fast, but I think I came on like 30, 31. So it's been a ride. 100 is big. It's showing a little bit of tenure now in the podcasting and YouTube channel world. Get off the cord, Jinx. Sorry, my cat's biting the cord.
Oh, no worries. No, it's been awesome. We just did our first episode of MMA, Octagon Talk the other night for UFC 257. That was awesome. We've been doing hockey, basketball, football. So, yeah, full house, full Izzy. We're rolling over here. Very excited. 100 episodes. Feeling pretty grateful. Feeling pretty good today about it. So, we're going to jump into some hockey. How are your Caps doing, man? They're not looking too bad.
I mean, they're not looking bad, but it doesn't help that Orlov, Kuznetsov, and Samsonov. Samsonov actually tested positive, so they're all in COVID protocol. They got fined for just hanging out in the room playing cards. I don't really know what happened, but it's a big bummer. Probably going to see a little bit of a slide, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah, my Blackhawks, they're coming off a couple of wins, but they're going to be losing Alex DeBrincat to COVID. Not sure what happened, how he got it, but he's going to be pulled from games for protocol. And Adam Bachquist as well. Same thing, dinged on the COVID protocol. So, yeah, it's tough, but when we're not in the bubble, we're going to see this consistently happen. Carolina and Tampa, they're canceling games, their series for the moment. I think Carolina, they got dinged for COVID. So, yeah, it's just going to be the reality of it. And we're dealing with it in other sports too, right? In the NBA, we're constantly having games postponed, teams playing, shorthanded and stuff like that. So, yeah, until we get, a better product or a better handling of the logistics of COVID in sports, I guess postponements and games being, rescheduled are going to be the norm. So, but let's jump into our game previews. We only have one for this evening, Ottawa and Vancouver, and then we're going to jump into tomorrow's hosted games. There's a ton of games on the board for tomorrow. So first game up, Nick, what do we got? How are the numbers looking?
Right now, Ottawa is plus 124. Vancouver is minus 137 on the money line. The over-under is 6.5. Team goals for Vancouver 3.5 and Ottawa 2.5.
Interesting. I think Ottawa's going to win the game. How they do it, if it's sloppy, if they get a 2-goal win, if they blow it open 4-1, 5-1 or something like that. But I don't love the total. I don't love the over. Well, what are your thoughts here?
Ottawa is 1-3-1. Vancouver's 2-5. So I mean, both teams aren't doing too well. For Holtby, he had those first couple games where he did all right, but
okay, yeah,
but there's not. It's very top heavy in the scoring for Vancouver. Bo Horvat has 8 points. Boucher has 6. Hughes has 6. But from what I'm seeing, they're kind of splitting time between the two guys, Braden, Holtby, and Demco. Not looking good. Demco's been almost 5.5 goals against average, so that's not looking good. I'm not
that much better either.
Yeah, Holtby's not that much better. I mean, he's letting 3.7 goals against average. But they're splitting time basically. One's played 4, other plays 3. Both Holtby has 15 goals against, and Demco has 119 goals against. It's just they need to be better there. They're letting in too many goals. But I do think that they're going to win. I think that they do have a little bit more than Ottawa. Ottawa's lower in the standings, so that's how I feel.
Yeah, I can see that. With the goaltending, I'm not sure who's even starting, whether it's going to be Demco or Holtby. I'll give a little bit more, credence to Vancouver if Holtby's in net, but I'm going to go Ottawa here. Vancouver has just not been playing very well on defense. Last in the league for shots allowed, last in the league for goals allowed. You don't typically always see that. You give up the most shots and you let in the most goals. Typically, you get a little bit more out of that. Maybe like 25th, 24th, but they're dead last in both. So I'm going to take Ottawa with a little bit of an edge. Maybe Vancouver can cover the puck line. Are they the plus or minus option?
Vancouver is the minus option.
So they're -1.5. I definitely don't believe Vancouver is going to win by 2. Elias Peterson, he's one of the slower starts in the league for Vancouver. Someone that you guys were drafting probably in the second round, maybe early in the third round in fantasy. He's got, 1 goal in 6 games and no assists. And his goal just came in his last game, so that was good. Good to see he's still got the touch in him. He's not completely dead in the water, but I am going to give a little bit more credence to Ottawa. They're playing a little bit better recently, all around. But like you said, neither are great right now, so it's going to be close either way. Give me Ottawa for the win and the under.
I'm going to say Vancouver wins, but Ottawa covers. The one thing is that there's a lot more scoring happening in Vancouver than in Ottawa. The top scorer is Zatzev. He's a defenseman, actually, 5 points, so 5 assists. Only one guy has 3 goals, Chris Tierney. So, it's not a lot of production coming that way. So, maybe Holtby can hit a stride. One thing that I've noticed, though,
I wouldn't hate it. I'm still starting him in fantasy, so I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, true. Well, one thing that I've noticed with like these, especially with these divisions and trying to keep like a bubble in the division / conferences, when I'm like getting these updates on the games, it's like watching MLB updates because it's against the same teams. So you're seeing Ottawa or the Oilers versus the Leafs like a million times over and over. And you're just like, man, it's so hard to know which team you're going to get each game because, not one team is like blowing each other out. So I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth. And I think we might see a lot more closer to like 500 records this year with having to go against the same team over and over and over again consecutively.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that. When you don't have that mixture of like style constantly. Once you see what the team in front of you can do to you kind of figure it out. And we're seeing a lot of back and forth. You don't see a ton of sweeps right now. You're seeing a lot of 1-on-1s series splits. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So you're going to take Vancouver to win. What do you think about the total?
The total is 6.5. Yeah, because both starting goalies are at least allowing 3.7 goals against average. Even though both teams aren't producing much offense, their goalies are allowing for like those trash goals. They're not really tight around the edges, so there is room for offense to happen. And if Ottawa is looking better than Vancouver, then I definitely see the over happening.
All right, right on. I got Bo Horvat for a goal tonight, paying plus 225, 1 goal. That's it. Bo Horvat.
I'll take that. That's a good one. The next one is we're going to Tuesday's game, so tomorrow. Florida Panthers versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. I was looking at the over under. The money line is Florida Panthers plus 105. Blue Jackets are minus 116.
Okay.
Over under 5.5 goals. Team goals. Oh no, they don't have team goals for this one. It's only for tonight's game.
They're probably not going to have team goals available for tomorrow. I like Florida on the plus option there. They've only played 2 games against the Blackhawks, but they looked really good. Scored 9 goals so far in their first 2 games. Again, against my Blackhawks, not great, but I think that they're the better team here and the deeper team. They just had the trade between the Winnipeg Jets for, what was it, Patrick Lane giving up Pierre Dubois. I guess it's a good trade if you're trying to, he demanded a trade or requested a trade, Dubois. So, getting back Patrick Lalene's pretty solid, I'd say, I guess, after a player trade. Kind of reminds me of like the adding, Brandon Saad, the, Panarin, Well, let's just get a guy that can score and sell some jerseys, put some people in the seats.
Yeah. What am I seeing? This is Florida, so yeah. I mean, Florida. There's not much offense coming. Patrick Hornquist has 3 goals, but no one else is really popping off goal wise. It's really everybody getting peppering one shot or whatever.
Yeah. They said they've only had the 2 games against the Blackhawks, so it's not 9 total, and 3 of them came from one guy.
Bobrovsky has slid though, like 3.82 goals against, 0.889. His backup is 0.99 save, 0.933 save percentage. So Bobrovsky's definitely sliding. So I'm gonna take Columbus, just because even though they lost Pierre Luc Dubois, they got Patrick Lane. So it's kind of like a 1-for-1, and Dubois actually wasn't even playing though because Tortorella was sitting him, and they are higher in the standings. So it's kind of like a 1-for-1. Like they're not losing the goal scoring.
Lane's going to be out too because he has to travel and go through COVID, so he won't be in this game either. Yeah, so
so give me Florida on that then. So it's just
I'm gonna take Florida. I do think that there's some value for the over. Is that a 5.5 game?
I'm pulling it up right now. Yes, it is 5.5.
I think we might be able to see the over in that one. Like I said, Florida, they played really good offense up against the Blackhawks. I don't think that Columbus's defense is that great. They're 2-2-2 on the year, so they've been in games, but they're losing just as many as they've won. So yeah, I think that there's going to be plenty of offense from the Panthers here, and I do think that Columbus can still put up 2 or 3 in a losing effort.
Okay, yeah. What was it? So the next one is Philadelphia Flyers versus the New Jersey Devils. New Jersey Devils plus 138, Flyers minus 153. Total goals is 5.5.
Okay, that's another one where I like the over. The Devils are playing, surprisingly efficient hockey. They're not blowing you away in the score sheet, but they're winning some games. I think they've only lost 1 game in regulation so far, and pretty good, considering their roster. Mackenzie Blackwood's been really solid in net. Defensively, as a team, they've been great, but offensively, they don't do enough for me to see. They're actually, they should win for sure, right? I'll take them to cover the puck line if the Devils are plus 1.5. I'll take them to cover the puck line. They lose a close one by a goal or 2, and they go to the over. Is that another 5.5er?
Yeah, that is 5.5. New Jersey has been looking surprisingly good this year, considering that what was it? Crawford retired. Blackwood is a up and coming goalie. He still needs a little bit more time. He's only 24 years old. But Jack Hughes got 7 points, 3 goals, 4 assists. Ty Smith, 1 goal, 5 assists. Even PK Subban is got a 1 assist, and he's been struggling a little bit. So I'm gonna take New Jersey with the upset, and give me the under on this. Philadelphia likes to grind it out a little bit, and with them having a little bit more firepower and more star power, I feel like that they're gonna have to try and box them in a little bit and have them play the Flyers game for Flyers to win.
I agree with you, except for the Flyers right now. They're not playing that disciplined. They gave up, 3 goals in the third period up against Boston. They let one in when they were down 2 at the end of the second period. It was like just a minute or so left to go at the end of that period. Really choked it out. In a competitive game up against the Bruins. I think they respond, big time tomorrow. I think they put up 3 or 4 goals and they do pull out a win. But I am going to go to the over on it, just because I think that the Devils will keep pace, and I think that the Flyers, they kind of bounce back.
Okay.
Took one on the chin to Boston. I don't think they laid 2 games like that.
Okay. So next game, Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Boston Bruins. Pittsburgh is plus 118. Boston Bruins 130 minus 130. Total goals is 6. That's
a tough one. But both teams have been playing a lot of offense. The defense for Boston has been really good, like statistically, if you look at the numbers, but still getting it done. Like I said, they just put up 6 goals on the Flyers. That's a tough one. I guess just take Boston to win. I think that's the easiest bet here, but you could get, a really slower, grinded out style with a lot of experience on both sides of the puck. And the Penguins and the Bruins. Yeah, I'd stay away from the total, but I like the Bruins just to win straight up. What do you think?
I'm gonna take the Bruins. The Bruins have had a lot more games that have been seemingly more in control. I feel there's been basically 1, 2, 3, 4. The last 4 games for the Penguins, they have won, but it's been 1-goal games. So pretty much nail biters. 2 shootouts, 1 overtime, nail biting games.
Right.
And also that's a lot of extra time to be playing, especially consecutively. So they might be coming out a little bit gassed. I'm going to take the Bruins to win. I'm going to take the 6 flat. That's kind of tough. I'm going to go with a 3-2 game. Bruins going to win 3-2. Let me see. The spread for that one is 1.5. So that would, 1.5. So that means that
I'd take the Penguins to cover the 1.5. I say they lose by 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Pittsburgh covers the 1.5 because it's gonna be a 1-goal game. That seems to be their style right now. Shocking, right?
Yeah, no, they're playing really well, which is surprising because they're not getting anything out of second line center Benji Malkin. He's got 1 point across 7 games and no goals. Pretty disappointing, but the rest of the roster is getting it done, including Sidney Crosby. So, I guess not much to be surprised about there, but kind of willing them to some victories here.
Yeah.
Boston, he's not going to do it up against the Bruins.
Isn't Pasternak not wearing a no contact jersey?
Yeah, he's back at it. Looks like he's going to be ready to go here in a couple of weeks, if not sooner. Definitely somebody you guys want to scoop up in fantasy if he is still available. If someone isn't utilizing their IR or injury spot, he's definitely somebody you want to scoop up here soon because it just needs to be on. He's going to be back at it.
He's electric. Like, when he has the puck in his stick, he's good. So when he comes back, definitely expect him to be lighting it off.
Probably a downgrade for Jake DeBrusk, who's been playing a lot of time on the top lines.
He's probably been playing inspired hockey.
Yeah,
those guys in Boston seem to definitely take the bull by the horns and go with it when their time is called. Anyway, the next game, New York Islanders versus the Capitals. New York Islanders are favored minus 133. Caps are plus 120. The total goals for this is 5.5. The spread or puck line is 1.5.
Okay. And it's plus 1.5 for the Caps. I'm gonna stay away from the puck line on this one and just take the Islanders to win. You were kind of referencing, Capitals are beat up right now. They're going to be missing Ovechkin. We're not sure about Tom Wilson yet. If you're missing already, two guys from your top line, it's not a good start, right? I'm going to go Islanders. They're playing good hockey, and I'm going to go to the under.
I'm going to go the under, and I'm going to say that the Islanders do cover the 1.5. Pulling up the schedule for the Caps is the exact same, look at
lost in regulation. The Capitals, they've only lost in overtime.
Yep. But while the Penguins have won those overtime games, they have lost. They've only won one of those games, and those are with the stars that they do have, which they won't have in this game. The Islanders are coming off a very strong season last year, where I thought they were going to make it to the Stanley Cup. So I'm going to say they win 2-0. They're going to win by 2. It's 5.5. So I could see like a 3-1 game happening.
I'm taking the under as well. I wouldn't mind a shutout for the Islanders. I got Semyon Varlamov, I wouldn't hate that. That'd be terrific. Off to a hot start already.
He was a former Cap at one point. He was really good. I was very impressed with him during the Stanley Cup playoffs last year.
Revenge game. Let's go.
Yeah, here we go. And also Also, Trotz coaches the Islanders. I said a couple weeks ago that he, or the last show, that he coached the Sabres. That was my fault. So he actually coaches the Islanders. So he's coming with a little bit of heat too. Yeah, it's all New York. So next game, New York Rangers versus the Buffalo Sabres. Rangers are -104. Sabres -106. So pick 'em game basically. Total goals 6.5. And the spread is 1.5 with Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers got to show me something before I start putting any money on them, man. They have been so underwhelming, so disappointing. First overall pick, Alexei Lafreniere, no points, 5 games, hasn't done anything. They're giving up a ton of shots. The goaltending has been like, it's not awful if you watch the tape, between Georgiev and Shesterkin, but what's going on in front of them is really bad, just really bad. And they're getting into a lot of situations where it's just like, we've been talking about it, pond hockey, exhibition games, where it's just like shoot 'em outs, like up the ice, give a shot, take a shot, give a shot, take a shot, give a shot, take a shot. I can't pick them to win. Give me the Sabres. They're not looking great. They did just beat the Capitals in a shootout. That was a nice win. But I don't really love anything that they're doing necessarily, but I think they're just a little bit better than the Rangers right now. What do you think?
I'm going to say yes. The Sabres are better than the Rangers. Looking over the entire season for the Sabres, they are actually they lost. My bad. So they're 1-3 against the Capitals, but the Rangers are sliding so bad right now. And they're not really getting any jolt from their number 1 pick at all. So I'm going to say that they're going to lose. I'm going to say that the Sabres do cover the puck line of 1.5.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with the puck line just because both teams, like I said, like the Rangers shoot a lot. They get a lot of shots off. It's just that they're not burying them. They could get into a situation where they get streaky. They put up a couple. They lose by the 1. So I don't want to mess with it. It's just really frustrating team. I was on him early on. I drafted Chesterkin in fantasy. He gone. He's not there anymore. We're going with the streaming approach, and so far it's working. I didn't win my first matchup because it was 2 weeks long. But what was it? I scored like the second or third most points. Woohoo!
Nice.
You know how that goes. You know how that goes in fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh, scored a shit ton of points. What? Second, third most? Oh, cool. Oh, I lost. Great.
Yeah, that's you always get housed when you do your best.
Yeah, it's not great. I was not happy, but I'll live to fight another day. It's all good. It's all good. So, but yeah, Rangers really disappointing. Chesterkin, Georgiev, going to be some streaming options going forward. Somebody's going to catch a hot hand. We'll see what happens. What's the next game up?
Your Blackhawks versus the Predators. Blackhawks are what? They're favored. No, that's the. I was looking at the puck line.
That's the puck line.
There we go. So they're plus 149 on the money line. Predators are minus 165. Total goals for this game is 6, and the spread is, I think it's 1.5. Yeah, 1.5.
I'm gonna take the Hawks to cover. Predators coming off really, really bad performances against Dallas. I think there was a 7 and a 4 goal game, something like that. It was not good. Dallas, great start. Golf clap for them. That was good stuff. Coming off of the long COVID wait, came out with a splash. Blackhawks, they're playing pretty good. They're scoring a lot. Second best power play in the league. Pretty crazy, given the roster, given the situation. But power play is there, but no defense whatsoever. Predators have lost 3 in a row, so I think that they do win the game, but it's only by 1. I'm going to take the Hawks to cover, Preds to win, and give me the over. Blackhawks are cashing a lot of overs so far.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule right now. It's literally after the 4th game, they stopped letting up 5 goals a game. They first 4 goal. They let up 20 goals in their first 4 games.
Michael Lykinen, the guy they got in there now, he's been doing pretty good. He's only had one regulation or only one loss, and it was in overtime. Yeah, only one loss, and it's in overtime. Back-to-back wins, but they were against Detroit. So
Yeah, I mean, Detroit has some offensive firepower, but they've held them to 3 goals in 2 games, so that's a good start. The Predators, they let up 7 goals, and then 3 goals against the Stars, so 10 goals total, and only got 2 goals for themselves.
Yikes!
Yeah,
Ouch!
yeah. So and then before that, the Hurricanes went 4-2 against them. So their defense is struggling right now. So I'm going to say that the Blackhawks continue their little streak that they're going on. I think 3 is actually a streak now. So I think they're going to continue that against the Blackhawks or the Predators. I'm going to say they win by 1 goal though.
Oh, snap!
Yeah, so they're not going to cover.
All right, fair enough.
All right, so next game, Edmonton Oilers against the Winnipeg Jets. Oops, sorry, I'm always on that one. Money line. So Edmonton is minus 109, Winnipeg minus 101. So pick 'em game.
Pick 'em. Yep.
Total goals is 6.5, and then the puck line is 1.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Winnipeg just straight up, just for the win, and give me the over. Both teams are scoring. Both teams are scoring a lot. Winnipeg's just got that extra edge on defense.
I'm going to take Edmonton. I think that the firepower with McDavid and Draisaitl is just going to overwhelm them. So I feel like that's going to be the factor. You're talking about defense, but when you're going against superstars, sometimes you can't do anything about it. The game's built for the offensive game. So.
No. I mean, we love our superstars in Draisaitl and McDavid. Right now, McDavid's got the 1 point edge, 10 points to 9. So we'll continue to see how that race goes throughout the season. But defense, man, they have nothing there. I mean, they're letting in goals left and right. Winnipeg, they're just a little bit more disciplined. So yeah, I got to go the other direction there.
Okay, yeah. Next game is Los Angeles Kings versus the Minnesota Wild. On the money line, Los Angeles Kings are plus 137, Wild minus 151. Total goals is 5.5, and the puck line is 1.5. 1.5.
Okay.
So Minnesota's 5.5, 1.5.
And Minnesota's been really, really good on the penalty kill. They're like second in the league. I think that's why the number is at 5.5, because I really feel like it should be at 6 or higher, because both teams are actually, been really, scoring a lot. I think Anze Kopitar has like 9 points, a goal, and like 8 assists. He's cutting it up for everybody. I mean, the offense is actually pretty good for the Kings, kind of, which is surprising, to be honest.
They've lost every game they've lost. They've scored goals or more. So I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I like the over here. I think it is going to be a close game, though. I think it's kind of a tough one to call. Wild have been the better team overall thus far, so I guess I'll just go that direction. In what I would call a coin flip, realistically.
So the last 2 games that they played against each other was the first 2 games of the season. Wild won 4-3 in overtime, both games.
Yeah, that's close. That's close. Might be getting greedy, trying to pick them to win again. But I'm just going to go that way. I think they're still the better team. Just more depth. LA. They've got some nice pieces. Going off, like I mentioned, in Kopitar. What was it? Do I have the other guy up there? Yeah, Adrian Kempe. He's got 5 points in his last 4 games. He's somebody that you guys should be looking at to add in fantasy. He's a nice little piece. Just recency bias. Add him, use him until he's gone cold. So yeah, they've got some pieces rolling there. Close one, but I'll take the Wild to win.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Wild to win too. Don't think that they're going to cover the 1.5 though. I think it's going to be a 1-goal game, like the last couple times. So next game is the Detroit Red Wings versus the Dallas Stars. On the money line, the Red Wings are plus 175, Stars minus 195. The total goals is 5.5, and spread or puck line is 1.5.
This one's easy. Easily the over, hands down over 5.5 goals. I mean, literally, Dallas showed that they could do it by themselves, and hammer the Dallas money line. I mean, that should be minus 300 after what we just saw them do to Nashville. My goodness.
Yeah. Detroit isn't on the same level. They're
Yeah,
still
and
young.
Dallas is a really good team defensively in general. Like just off the get, like the fact that they were able to put up that many goals, 5 goals essentially in 2 games, and their total is still under 6. It's wild to me. I don't think that's right. So, yeah, hammer the 5.5 until it's not 5.5 anymore. I could easily see that being 6 goals in the morning, and yeah, hammer Dallas while there's still any leverage there. Minus 190 is still pretty good for a team that's just going to whomp them 4-2, 5-2. I'll take them to cover the puck line too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the same thing as you. So next game, Anaheim Ducks versus Arizona Coyotes. On the money line, Anaheim is plus 116. Coyotes minus 128. Total goals is 5.5, and the puck line is 1.5.
Kind of a closer one. Instantly, I like the Coyotes. What do you think?
I think the Coyotes. I'm actually pulling up the schedule right now for Anaheim. They're kind of in my blind spot because they haven't been really good lately. So they haven't been worth paying attention. So last game they played against Colorado, 3-1. They find every blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Game before that, 2-3 loss in overtime against the Avalanche. They split the series against the Minnesota Wild, but their win was a 1-0 win. So basically, probably the Wild beat themselves. And then they lost against the Golden Knights. I'm going to say Arizona wins this. Let me see their margin of victory. So they're only losing by 1 to 2 goals, except their first game, which was a 3-goal loss.
Right.
I'm going to say that Arizona does cover. They're going to whip up on Anaheim.
Yeah, I think that's a really safe bet. Coyotes coming off a couple of losses, I believe, to Vegas, and Vegas is best in class right now. We'll get into our power rankings, but I can already tell you they're at number 1 for me for sure. So I think the Coyotes have just been playing better teams in general. They gave San Jose a good run for their money, took home a win from them. I believe they did get handed their 4-1 loss in that first game, but they're a gritty team to me. The offense hasn't really been there for. Who was it on the other side? Who are they playing? Sorry,
Anaheim.
Yeah, Anaheim they're like, what is it? Last in both shots on goal and total goals. Yeah, I mean, it's just not really there. They haven't really shown me much of anything to lay any type of money on them. I think that giving the 1.5 to Phoenix is pretty safe. I think that's some safe money. The total, what is it, at 5 or 5.5 or 6?
5.5.
I think that one's a little bit more questionable. I think we could see a 3-1 game onto the Coyotes. I think, realistically the other way, if Anaheim does win this game, they're probably going to win it 2-1 or 1-0 because they're going to be getting it done defensively. The offense just hasn't been there for me to, make me put any type of money on them. So, yeah, give me the Coyotes to cover the 1.5, and I don't want to touch the total, but I'll take the under, gun to my head.
Yeah, I'll take the under as well. Next game, Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Calgary Flames. The Toronto Maple Leafs on the money line is minus 111. Calgary Flames plus 101. Total goals in this game is 6, and puck line is 1.5.
I'm going back to the well with the Maple Leafs. What do you think?
I'm going to say the Maple Leafs because they just played them, Maple Leafs just played the Flames. They beat them 3-2. They have played even though the Maple Leafs have played a lot more games, they've shown that either they can come back from a loss or, when they changed over, they beat Ottawa on their second game of the series. Then they beat Winnipeg. Then they lost to Ottawa. Then they beat Edmonton after that. And then they beat Calgary again. So I'm going to say that they're going to continue this little streak. 4 out of the last 5, that's pretty good. The Flames haven't shown that kind of firepower just yet.
Yeah, they look like the better team and the deeper team to me still. Give me the Maple Leafs. What was the goal total on that one?
Goal total was, I think it was 5.5. It was 6, sorry.
Just 6 even. I think I'll still take the over on that too. I'm not going to get cute with it. I think that there should be plenty of offense. I think it's a 4-3 game either direction. Give me the Flames to cover the puck line.
I'm gonna say,
or actually no, are they favored? I'm sorry. Whoever has the plus in this one, whoever has the plus 1.5. It's a 1-goal game.
okay, yeah, I'm gonna say it's a push on the total goals. It could be a 4-2 game. And on the spread, the Maple Leafs are favored on the spread. So,
Give me the Flames then.
I'm going to say yes. Maple Leafs do cover this puck line. Next game. Cool. Next game is San Jose versus Colorado Avalanche. San Jose Sharks plus 192. Colorado Avalanche minus 214. And then on total goals, 6, and puck line is
1.5. Yeah,
1.5. Yeah,
that's a tough one. That's a tough one between these two teams. I like Colorado. Mikko Rantanen, he's got 5 goals in 5 previous games. He's hot. Offense is looking good for the Avalanche, but it's very similar with San Jose. You know, both teams have a lot of firepower here. I feel like the advantage is Colorado's defense. You know, they're solid 2-way game. I guess I got to go Colorado. I think they're just a better team overall. But I think it's a really close one. I think San Jose does cover the puck line.
Puck line is 1.5. I'm gonna say, they're gonna lose by 2 to the Colorado Avalanche. You know, they're San Jose. They do have solid defensive players. Brett Burns. I think its name's Eric Carlson. Is also there. Came from Ottawa. But they're getting older. And Colorado Avalanche's offensive players are like going into their prime. So I think it's going to kind of overwhelm them. So I'm going to say that Colorado wins by 2 against San Jose. So San Jose is not going to cover that. All right. Last game for tomorrow: St. Louis Blues versus the Vegas Golden Knights. On the money line, the Blues are plus 126. Vegas Golden Knights minus 139. And total goals for this game is 6, and the puck line is 1.5.
Keep it simple and just take the Knights money line here. I like the over a lot too. Should be plenty of offense from both sides. Was it 5.5 or 6.5?
6.
6 even? Yeah, I'm not worried about the even number. Give me a 5-2 game. Give me a 4-3 game. Yeah, I like Vegas in this one. They've been rock solid thus far. They're good on defense, but St. Louis does have some spark plugs on offense. They have some guys that are popping. Kyrou? He's a decent ad in fantasy. He's been popping off recently. Averaging like 4 or 5 fantasy points a game. The past 3 or 4. So he's been a solid one. Obviously, Short's always there, solid. Fire up those guys for certain in fantasy. But I don't think the team gets it done. I think the Knights are just a better product.
Yeah, the Blues have been alternating their wins and losses throughout the season, but I think that the Vegas Golden Knights are going to continue their lose streak. It's been back and forth with them, but Vegas has basically rolled through. They lost against the Coyotes 5-2, but then won against them 1-0 the next game. And the only other game like that kind of scoring was their second game of the season. It was 2-1 overtime win against the Ducks. And then the next game, it was 4-2 win against Arizona. I'm going to say if they come back this game and have a little bit more offensive firepower.
All right, fair enough. All right, cool. So, what's that?
I was just going to say that was the end of the card.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So we're going to jump into some players to add in fantasy, some we've already brought up. We mentioned Ty Smith for the Devils. He has 6 points in his last 5 games. Adrian Kempe for the Kings. He has a center and left wing designation. He has 5 points in his last 4 games. Vitek Vanish, was it? How do you say it, Nick? Vanacek?
Vanacek, yeah.
Vanacek. You mentioned the other guy. He's out for COVID, right?
Yeah, Samsonov. He tested positive.
Yeah, so grab Vanacek for sure for the Capitals. They're hurting right now, but he's going to be getting some starts. We got Rupe Hintz for the Dallas Stars. 5 points in his last 2 games in that big scoring bang up against Nashville. He's someone that you want to look at, streaming going forward. I'm not sure, how much longer he'll be ownable. I'm sure he might be able to, cold out at some point. Joe Pavelski was an ad. Radulov was an ad. I think those guys were, cornered by a lot of fantasy teams just to start the season. Got me some Radulov, so that was sweet. He was solid for a couple of goals. Joel Edmondson for the Canadiens. He's third in the NHL in plus minus. He's a decent look night in and night out for a streaming option. He doesn't have a ton of goals or assists or points or anything like that, but he's always solid, blocks, shots on net, and plus minus. Always a decent streaming option. And then a couple of Blackhawks. Kevin Lankinen, the starting goalie. He's going up against Nashville in these next 2 games. I think he wins at least one of them. So if you need a streaming option in net for the next couple of games, I'd take a look at him. And Conor Murphy, another streaming option for the Blackhawks. He's got like 48 fantasy points more recently than it was to start the season. And again, that's because they just won a couple of games and they had a strong finish up against Florida. So another guy to look at in a couple of plus matchups here against Nashville. Nick, who are a couple of your busts so far to start the season?
Well, for my Caps, it's Carl Haglin. He has 0 points since the season started. God dang it, Santa Carl, you got to get it together, man. You're considered one of the fastest guys in the league. That was the big thing about you. How are you not getting past anybody to score a goal? That's really disappointing. Right. One of the guys on the board that we have is Taylor Hall. I saw that he got blasted the other night. Especially with everybody talking about all the teams clearing out cap space for him. And he's coming out with 0 points in 3 straight games.
Not great.
Very disappointing. You got to be better than that. I was kind of looking at the Caps thing and seeing is Ovechkin sliding or anything? Nope, he's doing his same damn thing. If you want to be paid that big money and be taken seriously in the league, you got to be a player game in and game out. So those zeros got to go away.
He's actually got more assists than goals. It doesn't happen all the time, but out for COVID, he'll switch that around here soon. But it's always surprising when you even still, come on, what's up with this event? Ovi, come on now. I saw him in that Pittsburgh series though. He was letting them rip. I mean, just rockets, just haymakers all over the place. So he still got it. No worries.
If his stats are like that, then Backstrom's is leading the team because those two basically they're opposites. So who do you think is one of the guys we did mention was the Benji Malkin. With those games in Pittsburgh, it's a lot of grinded out kind of games. There's not too much firepower that overwhelms the other team like normal with Crosby and Malkin. It's a lot of 1-goal games, so they're fighting every game for their lives.
And what I don't understand is how is Malkin just not running into free points? I mean, literally, the Pittsburgh offense is on fire. There's only been 1 game where they finished with 2 goals or less. There's only 1 game. I mean, they're scoring 3 or 4 plus goals every single game. This dude has 1 goal, 1 assist in 7 games. How is he just not walking into just tap in goals and stuff like that? I don't understand. 4-3, 4-2, 3-2. It's nope, no stat sheet for Malkin. Really slow start, but the team's in a really good position. So as long as he can, get cooking here at some point, it'll be a good spot for him to blow up. But might be a time for them to potentially move on from Malkin. Maybe get him out of there, clear up some more cap space, get a real playmaker in there.
Besides Crosby.
Yeah, I don't know. Could be time to sell low on him. Roman Yossi, he's only got 1 point in 5 games for the Predators so far. This is a guy that was literally top 5 in fantasy last year with forwards included. So everyone was definitely expecting a lot more from him. He was a guy that was taken, probably, first or second defenseman off the board in fantasy. So 1 point in 5 games is not getting it done. And the plus minus situation is really bad too after this last bout with Dallas. It was not good. Not good for him. Another one was Elias Peterson, who we did mention, only 1 goal through 6 games. He was a guy getting taken at the end of the first round, beginning of the second, third at value, if people are sleeping on him. So that's really bad. Canucks, they say they're not worried about it. I think they need to be worried about it. Going tonight, like I said, I put my money on Bo Horvat to get a goal. So definitely not putting my props on Peterson just yet. Nick, you mentioned Taylor Hall. Claude Giroux, what is it? He only has 4 assists. He has no goals. He has 4 assists in 6 games. Sean Couturier has been hurt. Kevin Hayes has really stepped it up more so than Claude Giroux, which is kind of surprising. So they're getting a lot out of Kevin Hayes, not so much out of Claude Giroux. 4 assists is nice, but you like to see a lot more from like a superstar center, a guy like it with his skill set. I just expect a lot more.
Absolutely.
And then the last one was Alexis Lafreniere. No points, 5 games, first overall pick. What are you doing, guy? Get out of here. He's a fraud.
Was he worth it?
Hey, I mean, Kaprizov? He's looking a lot better. He's looking a lot better. Let's jump over to that Dubois and Laine trade. Who do you think come out? Who do you think came out on top in that trade?
I would say Columbus. Just because Patrick Laine is a guy that comes in, does his job. Dubois, he's our age, but he was a distraction in that locker room with him and Tortorella going back and forth. Pierre-Luc Dubois is getting a change of scenery in Winnipeg, of all places, but it's a change of scenery. But I hope he does well there. But Laine's coming into a locker room that had succeeded in a way without Dubois. So I think that adding him is a big gain for them.
Yeah. So addition by subtraction is essentially is what we're running with here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, who isn't going to bump the Tortorella though? I mean, that dude's kind of a prick.
True. Absolutely.
I think it's still a win for Dubois. His dad coaches the AHL team in Winnipeg, so there's some more pluses for him, I suppose. For Columbus, as I said earlier, I think it's just one of those situations where all right, we got to give this guy up. He's really valuable. We need to get something back for it. Yeah, in that sense, the fact that he requested and demanded a trade, and you were able to get such a haul back and Laine, that's pretty solid, I guess. And he's a goal scorer. He'll put some people in the seats. He's got that name recognition. So, yeah, it's pretty solid. But I was also a little bit underwhelmed. Laine, he's kind of a defensive liability, and that's not really what Columbus needs. I mean, that's what they have everywhere. They have two-way players all over the place, but no real pure scorers. So obviously this fills the need a little bit. But at the same time, you're going to lose a little bit of that edge, at least on your top line that I think Dubois gave. And Dubois, to me, he's like Andrew Ladd light. He's a younger version of Andrew Ladd, but has that scoring touch. Can finish at the net, physical player. Good sized body, 6'3". Knows how to use it. Good playoff player. Someone that I think will look good in the postseason. So, yeah, I'd say Winnipeg. I'd say Winnipeg probably won it.
Yeah.
All right. We already mentioned David Pastrnak and Carolina and Tampa being canceled. Let's jump over to some of our power rankings, taking a look at the top 5. Number 1 team instantly right off the gate for you.
The number 1 team for me. Crap! I just closed my hockey reference, but I apologize. But for me, even though I love my Washington Capitals and they're the top in their points for their division, I'm still going to go with the Vegas Knights. They're incredible, man. You've said it on air. McPhee didn't grab a star; he grabbed all the glue from every other team.
All the X factors.
Yeah, and they have a great product. They know what they're doing. Everybody knows their role. So for me, I think that's going to continue, and they're going to be a problem for the entire time of their existence until they make a dumb mistake, and they haven't made one yet. So number 1 for me is Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah,
I mean, they definitely take nights off, and they don't, wow people with their, offense. It's just very, technical, get pucks in the net, screens, cause havoc, go after them on the power play. They're ranked 27th in the power play right now. 27th. They're 5-1. They don't need it because they can score. They can beat you on even strength on 5-on-5.
Yeah.
And they murder you with their penalty kill. What are they at? They're 10th in the league right now in penalty kill. I think that'll get better. I think that they're top 5 in my opinion overall. Ranked fifth in the league for goals allowed and third for shots allowed. So you can't even get them to the net. You're going to get block shots. You're going to have just lack of space, lack of time, and that's what they do to you. So yeah, definitely give me the Knights up top. After that, I think it's Toronto still. I think the offensive and defensive depth that they have is really strong, especially adding in Joe Thornton on offense. What do you think?
I mean, Montreal hasn't lost in regulation. For me, I'm going to say that it's Montreal above Toronto.
Okay.
I've seen some results between those two teams where, one's blown out the other. But Toronto still has like that monkey on its back where, they can look all great in the regular season, but when it comes to the postseason, it's going to be gone in the first round. So they got a big weight to excise off their shoulders. So I'm taking Montreal over them just because I think that it's going to hold stronger than Toronto throughout the season.
Yeah, I feel that way as well. I feel like Montreal, I mean, at least about Toronto with the regular season, like they're always great in the regular season. And that's probably why I feel so good about keeping them, at the 2 spot or the 3 spot in the power rankings, because that's all it's going to be. That's going to be their peak. I mean, that's really it. With Montreal, they're getting a little bit more offensively than what they're typically used to, especially out of Tyler Toffoli. I don't think that necessarily is going to last. Thomas Tatar has been good to start. They've got some other playmakers there as well. But I feel like some of those guys are just really hitting their stride to start the season, and it's going to fade out a little bit for Montreal. So I'm going to have them probably not at 3, but at 4. They're about my 4 spot, but they're in the top 5 still for sure with the way that they've been playing.
Okay.
So behind Toronto, I would have Tampa. Would you have Tampa at 3 or Toronto at 3?
I would have Tampa at 3.
Okay, Tampa at 3. And why them over Toronto, would you say?
Vets. I mean, they're defending champs. I mean, you can't fall in love with the bling of Toronto when Tampa Bay has shown that they are a legitimate team, and they didn't really lose too many pieces. Kucherov is out for a long time, I think, but they haven't really lost too much. And Braden Point is still being that great forward he is. And they have Vasilevsky in goal. So for me, I'm taking Tampa over Toronto. But Toronto would be I had Vegas, and then I had Montreal, I had Tampa, Toronto, and then Washington.
Yeah, the firepower for Toronto, to me, like their scoring has just been a little bit better, at least against the competition. Like we'll get more games out of Tampa for sure, but they put up like a ton of goals on the Blackhawks, like a ton. So maybe just the body of work just isn't there yet for this year to compare apples to apples. Toronto's been playing really good, really competitive hockey, and right now it just looks like it's been just a little bit too easy for Tampa. So whereas they may be the better team, power rankings versus the production so far this year, who they've played and everything, I'm going to give the slight edge to Toronto still.
I think Toronto's just like the sexy pick, they've
been playing good.
I mean, I feel like they've been in this spot for the past 3-4 years, and you kind of just got to look at their body. You just got to kind of look at their body of work and be like, okay, they're going to stay 2, 3, 4 for however long they are until something changes. I think it's the goaltending. I think that they should have gone out and really gone and got a piece. Not Braden Holtby. That was the one person I was not hoping for them. They kind of just didn't do anything with it. I guess they're waiting for the next round. But I think that's really what's holding them back because their offense is just really, really strong, but their defense is always the question. So for me, I'm kind of like looking at their body of work and putting that against them. That's a strike on me.
All right, fair enough. Who would you have behind those two then at 5?
Washington.
Washington. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm gonna go with the Penguins there. The Penguins have been a little bit more chippy. They're winning the close games, like we've been talking them up. Winning all these 1-goal games, and it's still early. They're essentially. I'm not saying they're getting free wins here, but when you're winning, that many games with by a 1-goal margin, you're constantly scoring that many goals. I don't know where they rank in the league. It's got to be top 5. Like I said, there's only one game where they've scored 2 goals or less. So they look really good right now. And if they can get Malkin going, they could be even more dangerous. Capitals, they're right there. I mean, if you want to take out even Toronto there and put them at 5 and, put Pittsburgh at 4 or whatever, by all means. But Pittsburgh, I think they're just playing really sound hockey right now. I think they will take the division lead tomorrow. I think Caps will lose tomorrow, Penguins will win, so they'll have a lead after tomorrow's set of games. So I'll put them in that mix, and then Boston as well. I mean, they're only 3-1. They haven't had as many games, so they can't really get to that point total yet. But Boston has been looking really good, man, really good. Not one of those teams that's exploding on the score sheet, but playing really, really good defense. What do you think?
I'm not hating on Pittsburgh being above Washington. Just looking at how the program goes, basically, Washington, they can look great, but when they go against Pittsburgh is going to somehow come out on top. And it doesn't make any sense to me. It's been a demon for a long time, and I knew that the cup was either going to go through Washington or Pittsburgh. Ended up going through Pittsburgh. And I don't know. I'm not hating on that, but for me, I have Washington above. But with them having all the guys out, they're probably going to slide next couple of days.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of to be expected. Do you know how long OV is out for? No.
Nope, no clue.
I'm not really sure how that protocol goes. Other than Boston, some teams kind of looking from the outside in, at least like top 5 wise. I'd say like Minnesota, Winnipeg,
Dallas.
Dallas, yeah, they just started.
They need more games. They need more games.
Yeah, exactly. Only 2 games played so far. They'll probably climb. What's funny? That darn Central Division now is so thin. My Blackhawks are in 3rd. Let's go 2-3.
There you go.
Hey, let's go. Hey.
It's gonna get really congested.
Dallas is climbing though. They're going to knock us out. They're probably going to be the second team in that spot up there after they get enough games in. Columbus, don't really see it. They've been kind of meh so far. And Hawks, a lot of scoring on both sides. Offense, defense. We let them all in. We put a bunch in.
I'm just looking at the standings right now, and I just see hella congestion everywhere. Like everybody's splitting games, like even going through the previews, it was a lot of 1-1 series, and those games where you play them one time, I feel like those games are going to be really important because they're going to help put you over the top. Because those 1-1 those 2-game series, those got to be counted as like division games basically, because those are going to be the bulk of your schedule. But those random games that you just have that random opponent for that one game, that 1 week, and you won't see them for a while. You got to win those games, and whoever wins those games will come out on top. Right now, we're seeing that Montreal, Toronto, Winnipeg to an extension, Vegas definitely, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Washington. Tampa hasn't done it, but they haven't played as many games. But I feel like that's gonna be how the standings shake out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really tight, like you mentioned, especially in some of those divisions with like Vegas, Minnesota, St. Louis. With the division approach, playing 2 games, 4 games, all back to back or within that really tight consecutive time. I mean, it just gives you really good looks for scouting, reacting. Obviously, if you take one on the chin, you want to beat the team again when you run it back, the next day or 2 days later. So, yeah, I think we are going to see a lot of that, but that does lend more opportunity for, the top teams to break away. And I think it's going to be some of those teams that we listed in Vegas, Montreal, Toronto, Washington, and Tampa, because, Toronto, like we mentioned, really good regular season team. They're going to get to play all those guys a lot. And when they play the bad teams consecutively like that, they can clean up because of that offense that they have. Who cares about the defense when you get to play, because they played Ottawa a bunch already, Vancouver, who else? I think they went up against Buffalo, teams that just, can't go toe to toe on offense, they're going to be able to run up the score and kind of break away in the standings a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're about to close it down here. You got anything to leave us out with?
Nope. Season's looking pretty good. I think it's going to be a tight race, especially, look at the Central. From top to bottom, it's only 2-point difference, which is crazy. So I think it's going to be a crazy season. I think that we'll start seeing the team start pulling away once we get 10, 15 games under the belt. Then we'll start being able to see the separation for sure.
Yeah, and it's also really hard with all the canceled games, right? Dallas, they're in the middle of the mix. They had 10 games canceled. Tampa Bay, they were at the top, but now they're having games canceled. My Blackhawks are bad, but they're somehow still in the mix because they've played a bunch of games. It's going to be a wild finish with all these seasons battling COVID. So, all right, appreciate you guys stopping by. This was TITTH number 100. Can't wait to go through the next 100 with you guys. Take it to the Hizzy Fantasy Hockey. Take care. Be well. We'll see you next Monday.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.